what I mean is, because I only ate that specific type of food group, um, when I emptying out my bowels throughout that period, um, that diet period of 6-7 days before the Gavolite solution, it really helped. It helped clean out my. It helped cleanse out my system in order to prepare it for the next 2 days of of that solution take. So it really, doing that diet before your colonoscopy, it plays such a positive impact on on your experience, your colonoscopy experience. So think of it this way: if 1 week before your colonoscopy procedure, if you just continue eating, whatever it is you want to eat, nuts, grains, wheat, everything, the 2 days before your colonoscopy, where you do have to take that Gavolite, and during that time period of that 1 week, you're still building up solid stool, like a solid stool. So it's just, when you do eventually, so that whole experience of having to go and get rid of and cleanse out your stomach, your intestines, it's just unpleasant, because you're still, everything is still hardened, and I don't know how to explain it. It's just that diet prep, just in the sum of it all, that 1 week diet prep of just avoiding nuts, grains, wheats, that really played a very important factor in a positive way in regards to my colonoscopy experience. So what happened towards the end, towards the procedure, the days leading up to the procedure, by 9 p.m. Sunday, I had to stop my solid food intake. And the next morning, when I woke up that Monday, keep in mind my procedure was Tuesday, the next day at 2:30 in the afternoon. So Monday, I had to start a strictly liquid diet. And some of the things that I could take in regards to my liquid diet, I made myself fresh homemade chicken broth that I made through boiling, the bones that I removed, separated from my rotisserie chicken. I did green Jello. I did Gatorade, tons of Gatorade, and I normally don't drink a Gatorade. I only get Gatorade when we have extremely high heat index in regards to weather, like when everything is showing like 90 degrees and above. That's when I do go and buy a pack of Gatorade, just to drink throughout that day when the weather does have a high heat index. So the colonoscopy, I did specifically get Gatorade. I woke up that Monday morning, and that's all I had throughout the whole day, was just chicken broth, Jello, Gatorade, water, and that's it. 24 hours, Monday. And then at 4 p.m. on Monday, I prepared the solution. I prepared my Gavolite solution, and then I stored this for 2 hours in the refrigerator, and I started drinking this. I needed to drink half of it, starting at 6 p.m., and I needed to drink that within 2 hours. So what I did was, so they recommended like 8 ounces every 10 to 15 minutes. So I had a measuring cup, and I was seated at at 6 p.m. I put on my Assured women's underwear, and then I had I had an 8-ounce measuring cup with me, which is 1 cup. I had a 1 cup measuring cup with me, and I had the solution and my phone. So at exactly 6 p.m., I poured the Gavolite solution into my 1 cup measuring cup, and I drank it. I like closed my eyes and I drank it, and it tastes like sugar water. It tastes like a cup of water and 10 tablespoons of sugar. That's what that solution tastes like. It's not that great, but you know what? Really seeing it in that's what the solution tastes like a cup of water and 10 tablespoons of sugar. But you know, it's just a cup. So I drank it, and as soon as I put the cup down, I set my timer for 15 minutes. I did it with Google and with my phone. So every 15 minutes, while I sat there on my couch, every 15 minutes when the timer went off, I poured the solution into my one cup measuring cup. I drank it. I set my timer. I sat around, waited. The timer went off. I poured the solution into my 1 cup. I drank it. I set my timer. I waited for the timer to go off. The timer went off. I poured it into, and so on for a period of 2. I'm sorry, I forgot one part of the system that I used to prepare. So what I did was I had a 1 cup measuring cup on my coffee table. I had the solution, the gallon, and of course I had my phone and the timer. But I also, on a piece of paper, I did write 15, 15, 15, 15. I wrote eight 15s on a post-it note, and I had it in front of me next to the jug and next to my measuring cup. So at 6 p.m. I poured my first 1 cup and I drank it, and then I set a timer and I crossed out the first 15 note there, and then 15 minutes later the timer went off again. I poured the solution into my measuring cup. I drank it, I scratched off 15, and I set the timer. And that was the system. That was my system of how I prepped for it. I had a measuring cup, I had my gallon, I had, of course, my 2 timers, Google and my phone, and I had the number 15 written down in 8 times on a post-it pad in front of me. So every time I took an ounce or a cup, I drank a cup, I scratched off the 15, and it helped seeing that lesson. That kind of like helped the prep for it. And so that's how I prepared for it. And then after 2 hours, I had to put the other half of the jug away in the refrigerator for the next day, Tuesday. And so that evening, I just waited by 8 p.m., I was done and relieved. And I just waited for it to take effect. And it did. I think that evening, I also noted down how every time I did have to go to the bathroom for a stool passing, and it was just water. It felt like just like, I know this is going to be very unpleasant, I'm sorry, but it's just reality. It was like eventually it was just like water coming out, and it was like mustard water, and it was slowly cleansing out my system. And that's what I mean about the 7-day diet prep. I think that also helped in that part